Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sorry about that. I always forget that I swear to God, I'm getting like worse as I get older. It's like no matter what happens, I'll still remember or forget the little stuff. I always forget that the timer you guys see is always like way. It's like 30 seconds ahead or something like that. Anyway, Seizure, I just want to say thanks, man, for popping in. All you guys, all my friends in Australia. Sorry, time zones and what have you. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a or had a good Christmas, happy holidays, all the good stuff. Get back on the horse a little bit. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna wrap up this Jesop King cover. This is for issue 1. If you guys remember, maybe you don't, that's cool. I'll kind of catch you up. That I just finished. So I did a logo redesign, and by redesign, it's not. I know the Jesop King logo isn't anything amazing, but in contrast to what it was, I had like this sort of like this cool. Hey Justin, how's it going? I had, in my opinion, it was kind of a cool like silhouette of Jesop, like a big shadow, big muscle guy with Jesop King written there with some broken text, and it looked really cool. To me, it looked cool. But the more I looked at it, it was very hard to draw a cover with that logo. Actually, maybe I should bring it up here just so you guys can have some context what the hell I'm talking about. Let me see here. I don't know if I have it here. Logo. Let's go over here. Yeah, okay. So this was the original logo here that I was floating around with for a while. Whoops. Just drag it over here. Right. And it works. It's really cool. But as you can see, like this top stuff, this was making it so that it was pushing the logo more vertically as opposed to horizontally, right? So it was it was tough. It was tough to use. And the other thing is when I started zooming out, like check this out. The more I zoom out, like it still reads for sure, but it wasn't, it was missing something. And the thing is, when I started looking at other comics and stuff like that, and just books in general, this here it's just a logo. It's clean. Like the text is there. You connect the E to the S, so it's a little unique. It's nothing too special. But in my opinion, like as I zoom out from here, like you can always see it. It's not like it doesn't disappear, and it's readable, right? And I really wanted to really push that there. So we got that. Whoops, wrong button here. And with issue 2 going forward, I wanted to do the issue releases. So instead of doing like a page every X amount of weeks, we're doing just, it could take 2 to 3 months, but once it's done, there's an issue, you guys can read it, move on. And it feels a little bit more appropriate that way, at least the way that the book is going and stuff. So did issue 2, and I thought it would be more appropriate to go back and do issue 1 as well. That way there's continuity. We're only really one issue deep. We're starting issue 2. So these sort of retcons, I guess you could call them, probably may as well do them now while we can. AK, how's it going? I know my room looks cold. So sometimes when I stream, the webcam settings, they just don't work. So I have to flip flop between one or two of them. And these ones, I forget why it's blue. I think it's because of the lighting that I had, and I was offsetting the yellow. I don't know, but yeah, it makes it look more Canadian. Yeah. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Keeman, how you doing? All right. So what else can we say? Yeah, so we already got the flats, and I've been recording this stuff. So probably either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna go back and I'll do like an abbreviated version where I'll skim through the video and kind of talk a little bit more about what the hell I'm doing. If you guys are interested in that. So today, what we're gonna do is put the shadows on this guy, and then that's pretty much it. And then this cover's done. After that, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I might leave it up to you guys. Maybe we'll do some fan art of something, maybe some Star Wars stuff, or I don't know. I'm not too sure yet which one we're going to jump into. Excuse me. All right. So I know we had our purple color already ready to go. I'm still kind of hesitant to use this. Let's actually go. Let's try this here. Let's just turn that off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a layer, and we'll just start applying shadow over everything. And we'll just turn off all our color. It sounds like there's birds just dying back there. Alright, we'll actually grab all this, put it all in a folder, and we can turn it off. There we go. And I'll turn all this off as well. Cool. Alright. Actually, let's do some pinkish red. I always love doing shadows with this color. Not sure why. actually, that would be a great button. Okay, so I'm not one of those guys that likes to just go, oh, check out this cool thing I got for Christmas. But this I want to show you guys here. You guys have talked a lot about this, and I got super spoiled with this. Let me just right here. Hi, there we go. So we all nice and big. My family, they all pitched in to get me one of these. It's um, Republic of Gamers or something mouse. It's got the cool, like the gaming mice is what these are called. But you guys have talked about this before, but it's to me it's really expensive, and I mean this was more than nobody ever needs to get me something like this. But what's really neat is okay. So since I'm a left-handed artist, right-handed, those keyboards you can kind of get on the right where you could like shortcut all those things. I couldn't find one, and when I did, they were like $500 or something crazy. But there's tons of ones for left-handed people or people that write with the right hand and like a keyboard for the left, but I just can't find that at all. So anyway, my family pitched in, got one of these, and I've just been farting around with it for like a day. The wireless part's super sick. 'Cause, like right now, the setup I have right is this guy going, and this I can just move wherever's comfortable, instead of always having to look over at the keyboard and do all that sort of thing. So what's really neat is these kinds of things, right? Like they got all these, they're called like macros and stuff like that. So what I'm going to be doing, and the reason why I brought it up is because I'm going to have to play around with some of this. I wrote down what the shortcuts are, and I got to get used to this to see how it feels. Like is it is it jiving? Is it doing all that stuff? One of the really cool ones that I thought is, and this is one of the things I'll say, I'm not too sure about Photoshop in this regard. I'm pretty sure it could, but I can press like this one button, boom, look at this, like the auto actions come right up, and I can just hit play for whatever one I want, and then boom, go away. It's just saving that little click stuff, and it's this is the spoiled stuff I'm talking about, right? Like you don't need this kind of stuff, but it's cool. It's in my opinion, it's pretty cool. Anyway, why I was rambling here is there's one here that I forgot now that I'm in here, is the tab button. I want to put tab on there, that way we can get rid of all the menus. So just give me one quick second, and if any of you guys have something like this, let me know what you think of it. Like I'm assuming you guys love it too. It's just speeding up your workflow, especially going digital. Like this is good shit. Let's go keyboard function, and we will hit tab. Go. Just gotta let it save up here. Cool. And we should be good. Okay, cool. All right, let's try it out. Oh yeah. And to be absolutely extra spoiled here, I do realize that the Cintiq has buttons, right? Like I can use this for moving around and all that. But sometimes it's nice to have extra things. And I believe, and I know I'm just looking at this in a novice way, but I'm pretty sure you can even record like complex commands. So if I hold, I'll have to double check, but I think if I can hold one and press something else, it might do another one as well, which is really neat. Because then you could really, like I don't know if you guys ever watch his name. Maybe one of you guys can help me out. I always butcher his name and I always forget it. I want to say it's Yoshitaku. Is that his name? He's got an awesome channel here on YouTube, and he still uses Manga Studio 4. I forget the name. It's like a manga called like TSU Tusagamo or something like that. I'm horrible with Japanese or Korean or whatever the hell he is. But anyway, he's got like this whole. I shared his little video before. There's a post he made where he made like this whole custom desk that can like rotate. One of these Cintiqs just fits right inside of the drafting table and stuff, and it's really cool. But he's got like these shortcut settings that are just super unreal. And I always look at that stuff and I'm like, oh man, that's really cool. As people, and you guys might agree too, like if you're a digital artist anyway, or even if you're a traditional artist, right? Like customizing your workspace. When you can start doing that a lot, just to expedite the mini stuff. Like don't get me wrong, even I did this too when I had a drafting table. I screwed in a screw on the side of my drafting table just to hang rulers on, right? Like I don't know if you guys can see it back there, probably not. Just like a ruler with like the hole in there, you can punch a hole. You just hang like meter sticks and stuff out there. I know that's not the same as like macros and stuff, but it's along the same vein of customizing your workspace, right? It's just, I don't know. It's just that level of, it's fun. One thing I was just actually thinking about is maybe after this, what I'll do is maybe we can do like another kind of image like this. A super simple one though. That way I can post it on Patreon for a thank you for everybody helping me this year. Maybe we'll do like a little wallpaper or something. I don't know. We'll see. I have a razor one mostly for gaming, but I use it for a quick brush change. It's quick and easy. It's cool, but I find it much easier with the PS4. Okay, yeah, the PS4. I remember. Yeah, I was using something similar to that Logitech one. Either way, regardless, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, you guys should definitely check it out if you're into digital art. Let's do a quick Google search on how to use like a controller, like a gaming controller or something, to use shortcuts with your digital art. Whew, baby, next level stuff. And if you like using the keyboard, there's nothing wrong with that either. Still getting used to the feel of this damn thing. Oops. Does that undo? Yep. Save. So how about everybody in the chat? Did you guys get anything cool for Christmas? Any neat little toys and stuff? Some movies, some books, some comics. Justin saying he's so used to the keyboard it's hard to do anything else. Yeah, hey, well the keyboard does everything you need it to, right? It's more of I find like as people get more comfortable with working digital, they tend to start looking other places to get even more comfortable. Right? Like I used to have with the tablet, I would draw, my keyboard would be in front of me and it was like messing my shoulders up. Like, you know, the meat behind your shoulder blade? It was messing that up just because my arm was outstretched for long periods of time, and like every 30 minutes to an hour you'd have to stretch it out. And to be fair, my arms are still up on the standing desk here, or like they're still up, but you can move around a little bit, gives you a little bit of freedom. So I ended up moving my keyboard to the side of me. Like at work, I have my tablet that I draw on, and then my keyboard over here, and all my shortcuts and stuff I need. They're like, I got used to it for sure. But even with like what AK's saying there, with a PS4, just a regular controller, uh, just being able to have a hand in your lap, let's say, as you can just kind of move in and draw, like it's nice. It's a nice feeling. Sometimes you might have to use your keyboard though, just for like certain shortcuts and all that. Which one's this? How's that? Justin got a video camera. Oh, right on, dude. And some manga. What manga did you get? I'm always excited in hearing what other people are reading. Oh, the hardcover new guy. Ooh, wow. Okay, how's that, man? I've always been tempted to buy that. I'm only really familiar with Jack Kirby's stuff in Marvel. And I found a few years back now those, what are they, the Masterworks, I think they're called? They reprinted a bunch of the first issues of like Fantastic Four and all that stuff. And I bought all that shit up. X-Men, Fantastic Four, but this is when I first started getting into Jack Kirby. Like seeing it and going, okay, this is actually pretty good. My younger self would have looked at Jack Kirby stuff and would have vomited, but I guess the older you get, or maybe at least in my case, the older I got, the more I guess I'll say a disciplined attitude I started getting towards art. Like my ego started getting out of the way. When I was younger, for sure, like, oh my god, if something wasn't stylized and cool, I didn't give it the time of day at all. I wouldn't like look at it and go like, why is this popular? Or like I didn't even really care back then. It was just like if it didn't wow me with style, I just didn't care. Now it's like I'll look at certain things, but try to look at it differently. Like there's got to be something in everything. And sometimes there's definitely things that I'll look at and I'm like that's just not for me. But like Kirby and especially, forget what it was. I think it had to have been Fantastic Four because that's like my favorite. But I think I just gave it a shot or something. Honestly, it was probably like the Art and Story podcast I talk about. That podcast, it's gone now, but that helped me big time through some rough. I don't want to say rough patches, like I was going through some shit, but like especially with comics and kind of being like all I wanted to do was Marvel DC stuff, right? And that's such a long for some people it can be a really long grind. A lot of people, most people don't ever get it, right? And the Art and Story podcast came along and it was sort of like people talking about the seriousness of comics but coming from like an indie route. And I thought that was super unique. I wasn't hearing a lot of people talk about that stuff. Like the only people I heard talking about, like, for me, serious comics from Marvel DC, that was it. All the indie stuff was just tryhards, people trying to get a job there and couldn't. And I've talked about that before. I do believe that attitude was I believed it in part, but it was instilled upon me by the artist that was helping me grow. Just like an attitude he had and stuff, and it made sense, right? Like, why are you doing this stuff unless you can make a living off of it? The idea of like a passionate hobby and just enjoying the medium and stuff, and all that stuff that I'm about now. I definitely didn't believe back then. I was with him on a lot of that stuff. So when I heard like this Art and Story, the podcast there, I was just kind of like, wow, there's people talking about making comics as serious as the people that are actually making Marvel DC stuff that I knew of anyway. Like they're talking shop and all that, the same thing. And then I started to appreciate it because I was really just doing indie comics at the time, and it was awesome. I really enjoy it. That's why I still follow Jersey Droz and stuff. Like he's the main guy of that show, the heart of it. Mark Rudolph was on that show too, but I don't really know. I don't think he's doing comics anymore. I think he's just sticking more with like the illustration side. which is cool too. I always enjoyed his art. And then Kevin Cross came in towards the end. Most of you guys probably know Kevin from the 100 Days, or yeah, 100 Days of Comics. I believe that's what it's called, right? 100 Days of Making Comics. Started that up. He's a cool guy too. I think yeah, I was actually on that podcast like once or twice. It's so funny, man. Like, and this isn't going back that far. I don't even know why the hell I'm talking about this right now. But if you're on YouTube at all, like 7 years ago, now it's just there's so many art channels, and there was a lot of art channels back then. But it's funny. That's why I recommend. You never know when you start something when you become like a thing on there. You know, I'm not saying I'm something on YouTube. There's tons like Drawing with Jazz and all those cats. Those guys, they do this stuff is like, in my opinion, it seems like they do it. This is like their job, making art videos and stuff. That's never my intent on it, but those guys are always there. But anyway, I always just try to communicate with like Jersey and those guys because I enjoyed what they're talking about. Like I was like a lot of you guys, and probably some of you still are like that, where you don't have like an art circle and podcasting at the time. And still, I mean, if you're coming here to this stream or you go to other art streams too, I imagine there's like a community aspect to it, right? Like you get sometimes you'll like I definitely know there's a few of you that are in here that communicate back and forth with each other, which is super cool, you know. It's like you're meeting art buddies through a stream or however else you're getting it, and it's I don't know, it's just organic and it's cool. And I remember reaching out to those guys and eventually had me on for a couple episodes just to shoot the shit, and it was fun. It was fun. And again, I have no idea why we're talking about that right now. Oh yeah, somehow that started with Jack Kirby. Jesus. Anyway, okay, so I probably through there. That's where I heard about Jack Kirby because the guys running that like Jersey and them. They're older than I am. I don't know how much older though. I'd probably say like 10 years, maybe 15. 15 might be stretching it, but I just remember because Jersey's a big fan of He-Man. But when I was growing up, He-Man's what, 80s? Like early 80s? Is that right? Or is it like 70s or something? I don't know. I should probably know. I enjoy He-Man, but he wasn't really like a big thing when I was growing up. So anyway, they always like are they called the Silver Age of comics? I believe that's what it is. So they grew up with like the Silver Age stuff. And they would always have like an appreciation for like the older artists. Where like when I grew up, it was when I got into comics and when I really got into it, it was like Todd McFarlane on Spawn. It wasn't like Marvel really. And then Battle Chasers and all these like other comics that weren't really like I enjoy superheroes. I talk about that all the time, but it wasn't, you know, like Jack Kirby's and all those people. I didn't learn about them till like way later. I'd always hear people talking about like Arthur Adams, all these people, but it's like I skipped all of that stuff. It wasn't until I was older when I started like all I was doing was drawing comics and stuff, and that was the direction I wanted to go. When I started going, okay, well, and I remember making this decision too. I would just make comics and maybe look at art, but not really read comics. And I still do that today. I don't really read comics at all. Really few and far between. Manga, yeah, but even that's slowing down quite a bit. So I thought, okay, it's time to, or I should at least, if this is going to be a field that I'm going to get into, do some research into it. You know, I think it behooves a lot of us to at least understand a common language, right? Like, let's say I'm talking to somebody about Star Wars. You can tell the people that just watch Star Wars, and then you can tell the people that like know about Star Wars, right? Like the people that read the lore and all that stuff. And you don't have to be one of those people, but if you really, I don't know, I think if you really enjoy something and you want to take it seriously, you got to kind of look at the history of it. And I didn't go as deep as like what some people do, where they know about, oh, remember when there was the big boom and when comics were huge during this period and all that. Like I don't historically look, but there's definitely artists, especially in Marvel, DC, those kind of cats, where it's I think anyway, there's some big movers that were doing some really important stuff, and there's like key things to know about. And that's when I started looking into them, and then that's when I found Kirby and all that. And that's why I was saying, like, even the first time I saw his stuff, I'm like, nope, it's not for me. But I think it was just when I was on my, back then I was buying shitloads of stuff off Amazon, like inappropriately so, like a lot of comics, man. and I saw the Masterworks, and I was like, what the hell are these? I was like, oh, you know what? Let's give it another shot. And then that's when I just saw Kirby stuff, and I was like, oh man. And again, I think it was some episode of that podcast where they were talking about Kirby and how he did certain things. And once I heard like a context to look at his stuff, I saw it and I was like, oh, I like it was like learning perspective. All of a sudden, I understood a new language, and it felt awesome. I was like, oh, I get it now. I understand why people are, well, they're like, messing their underwear looking at this guy. This is great. Bleach. I think I got the first volume too. That volume 1 to 3. Fairy Tale. I've heard of that. I haven't read it. Jack Kirby has always been amazing what he did in the comic book industry. Yeah, Jack Kirby's work. That was really simple storytelling. I mean, which work? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And again, I just want to highlight the fact that I always came when I was like I don't want to say younger, but like even a years younger, right? Of my ignorance when it came to art, and I still talk to I say usually artists that are like 30 and under. Most artists that I talk to that are 30 and under have that ignorance where they judge art on face value, like if it's not cool or stylized, or there's something not fresh about it, I suppose. Right when you look at it, you kind of go, not for me. But then they're missing the chance to look at something and I don't want to say dissect it, but maybe dissect it's the right word. Like I don't think everybody the way everybody draws deserves inspection, but there's definitely talent, and I think the ignorance part is just not being able to understand why a lot of people consider somebody talented. Like, don't get me wrong. I've said this before, right? Like, let's say Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know. Hear me out on this one. I've never watched a single episode. I don't want to. There's no reason for me to that I'm looking at. Now, that attitude is being ignorant, but at the same time, and I learned this lesson again. I know 100% from the Art and Story podcast, whether they realize it or not. But it was like, but a lot of people like that show, right? Now, a lot of people could be really wrong about what's good or whatever, right? But the question you got to start asking yourself, or the question they propose to start asking yourself, and I started doing this in my world of like comprehension and stuff, of like this sort of thing got bigger, was don't go into it going like, I don't like it, so I'm not going to watch it. Check it out, and I know this kind of goes back against what I was just saying, but check it out just to see if you can see what it is that's in it that make all these people really enjoy it. What's that little thing? Because you might be able to find that and take it and bring it into your own art. I don't know if it's the real life bullshit drama or that. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just using them as an example, right? And that's again plays into the Jack Kirby stuff. What a horrible way to jump from Keeping Up with the Kardashians to Jack Kirby. That's vomit inducing, man. But anyway, I recommend checking out, especially if you're into comics, including manga. I don't care where it's from, Europe, any of the Asian countries, friggin' American countries too, right? Like comics is something you're super interested in pursuing. I recommend checking out like what a lot of people consider like top tier, And you can usually find those lists and then just check them out. Like how hard is it to check the stuff out? It's not too hard. But when you look at it, besides getting the initial reaction of like how you might appreciate it, check it out and try to look at it a little objectively. You might be surprised what you find. Hey Kevin, how's it going, buddy? I was surprised at the ignorance of folks at the comic stores. If I go to read Kirby, these guys should know this stuff. Hey Chris, how's it going, buddy? He's the pink guy, right? I don't know what that is. Sorry, Chris. With the Hoover powers, with the Hoover, he is the the vacuum powers. Yeah, sorry, Chris. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, you're right, Kevin. There's definitely like I wonder if it's just the age thing too, right? Like maybe the guys you're talking to are a little younger. That's why for me, I found again like the younger people. I don't want to say they're ignorant necessarily in like a negative way. It's just I'm just using myself as an example, and I don't know if you were different or whatever, but like I definitely gravitated to what I thought was stylish and cool, And a lot of the time, stylish and cool is like whatever's not old, whatever's the new stuff has got it going on. I wasn't mentally prepared to check out older comics and for learning purposes. That's not. I was looking at comics for me because it was cool artwork. I wasn't finding the only other play like video games are the main thing that I get my inspiration from, especially when I was growing up for sure. Not comics. The reason I got into comics or enjoyed them was I started finding like indie stuff and superhero stuff was really over the top too and really cool. But you know, there's certain like Udon Studios that was doing like Street Fighter and stuff, just comics that were out there that were just really fun and crazy to look at. That's what I like. It wasn't until I started like having to figure out how to draw the damn things I started getting really upset, going like it's easy to well, it's not easy, but it's easier for me to draw like this kind of stuff, like a pinup, right? But when you have to tell sequential stories, and I'm not saying I figured it out or anything, but I have a better handle on it now than I did for sure. But it wasn't until tried to or when I started trying to draw the damn things that I started going like, okay, the stylistic stuff I'm looking at, they're not helping me solve like basic problems like staging or okay, so when the camera's behind somebody, like even that, you guys remember the 180 rule? For those that don't, real quick, right? Like, let's say you got a dinner table and Susie's talking to Bobby. You have to have your camera somewhere like a movie, and it's easier to think of it like a movie. So if on this side, this is where all the camera and the staging crew is, right? And over here is like a window to New York City and stuff. That means the camera only ever goes here. At least from my understanding, the moment you go here, it gets weird because now you're seeing all these people wouldn't be here, but maybe this is like the coffee shop. It's odd to start seeing things unless you have one of those constant moving cameras that sometimes builds tension and all that stuff. But that's what I'm saying. Like looking at stylized art, I wasn't learning that stuff. I was just looking at holy shit, look how cool this character look, or look how awesome that's drawn, or I love the way they draw noses, that stuff. Um, and that's when I started looking into the older cats, only because they established sort of like that language. At least it's from what I've been told. At least I understand it. It's like the older guys, they're the ones that carried the torch for a long time, and they figured out a lot of this stuff. And that's why people talk about like Kirby in this case is like a language. You look at it and you're like, oh wow, he's going full expression like almost every panel, and it's super hard to do that. Like, how do you make people talking about the bad guy they're gonna go fight exciting? But somehow, sometimes he can do it, and I agree. Sometimes he fails at it, but that's art. You fail and you win. And all that's to say too is I think once you go back and you kind of look at the history, you can come back and look at all the really cool stylized stuff that you like and understand it a little bit better because you can kind of come at it with a little bit different of an analytical eye. Okay. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, it's age, but geez, he's like the historical figure. No, he is. Yeah, and I trust me, man. I've shown him to. I can think of 5 people off the top of my head that I've shown him to. 2 of them were like, holy hell, I wish I was looking at this stuff when I was younger. Other people that are older than I am too, and they're just like, he's great, but I don't care. So I enjoy celebrating him and the other cats that got us to where we are for sure. But again, I'm with you, man. Like I can understand not liking his stuff because it is old looking too, right? When DC did that new 52 and OMAC was coming out. I don't know if any of you are even gonna remember this, but I don't know who the artist was, and it's a shame. This is one of the downfalls of like trying to emulate a style of somebody else. OMAC, anyway. I don't know the artist, but you could tell he was 100% heavily influenced by Kirby. And then that's great, you know, because we get some, in a way, new looking Kirby stuff, even though you can't really do that, right? But then the bad part is like people like me that don't remember the guy's name. I just remember him drawing something that looked like Kirby. Like his individuality's lost, right? So that's why when I hear, this is going in another direction too, but when I hear some of you guys, not specifically you, but those that leave comments not about style and all that crap, like just look at the people you like, but combine a bunch of people you like, and you'll find your own. Even though you might have similarities to other people, you might find something unique that you just do. And it's better to be that way than not be that way, because if you're that way, at least you won't go, yeah, you know the new person on this book, I don't remember their name, but they draw like this person. Ooh. That's a shitty place, man. Hey Figs, how's it going? Kirby also has periods. His 60 work was much better than his later stuff due to the number of factors. Yeah, we could talk about Kirby all day. Hey Jake, how's it going? I just popped in here and I'm reading Kirby's Mr. That's funny. Kirby I've read, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, just so I can add something to this conversation. The Fantastic Four stuff, I forget how many issues I went in. I think I had like the 3 of them, the Masterworks trades. Hulk, did he do Hulk? I'm pretty sure he did Hulk. Trying to think. There's the Silver Surfer one with, was it Sal Buscema? Is that, I say his name wrong, I'm pretty sure it's him. That stuff's really beautiful to look at too. I almost like his more than Kirby. You know what? That's the thing. It's all style, right? But Buscema, he's kind of got. I'm saying his name right. I know I'm not. But the way he drew faces with the sharp angles and stuff, so many artists still draw that way because it's just, I don't know. It's got a look to it. But trying to think what else. X-Men. X-Men. I really like that. The DC stuff, like I say, I haven't read any of his stuff. What was the one? And I actually really enjoyed it with like Icarus and the Celestials. Damn it! What the hell was that called? Somebody be able to help me out. I got those 2 trades. It's not the Immortals or the Inhuman. It's maybe somebody will pop it in real quick. Damn it! What is it called? Doesn't it start with an I? Shit. Somebody will pop it in. Anyway, that one I really enjoyed that. I like anything that's got like Galactus looking kind of characters. But the New Gods and stuff, I've always heard really good stuff about that. That's where Darkseid comes from, right? Is that right? Hey Figs, how's it going? Oh, by the way, that issue 2 covers us. Thank you, dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Pillowhead, my man. How you doing? Cynical Bastard. Welcome. Welcome. I think is this your first time in the chat? No, not New Gods. Let me Eternals. Thank you, Jake. The Eternals. That's it. I really dug that. I was starting to read on the Marvel app there the new one with John Romita Jr. Nah, didn't really care for that one. I will say too, when I was reading the Eternals, it did feel like it was building and building, but nothing really ever came. Like nothing ever happened really, which was a shame. And I think that might just be more a taste of my like modern storytelling, where everything like the Eternals it sets up as something really friggin' epic, but I just don't think it ever pays off into anything. Whereas with modern storytelling, like everything's friggin' epic, so you expect like these gigantic friggin' payoffs. But could have just been my attitude. And I really wanted the John Romita Jr. one to be awesome, right? Like, cause I love John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I absolutely love it. One of my favorites. And I felt like I skimmed through a good chunk of that too, to be honest. Alright, let's turn on some music. Let's do some tunes. I'm just gonna put some background like thematic music on. Nothing epic or anything like that. Usually just sounds. Let's go to YouTube. Do this. Playback devices. That wind was really nice last time. Here we got. What else we got? Maybe wind chimes. You guys like wind chimes? Who doesn't like wind chimes? 10 hours of relaxing wind chimes. God dang.
I carry your heart with me.
And let me know if it's too loud or you guys can't hear it, all that kind of stuff. I use you guys as like my my scope of if the audio is just way out of whack. Chris, I like modern stuff more since you can always tell how powerful a character is by how many panels are capable of. Yeah, that's definitely true, right? Like, it's funny how storytelling's changed. Sometimes just the idea of a hero doing something simple. You know what? I actually listened to last night. I watched. It's a Star Wars documentary. I forget when it came out. It seems older, and I felt like I had watched it way back in the day, but maybe I didn't. Alright. This is actually starting to annoy me. 1 second. Let's do... I need like sound without this like wind as well or something. Zen music's actually pretty good. Sorry guys, 1 sec. Yeah, let's do this. These gets... Ooh. Ooh, listen to that. Okay. Yeah, I was watching, it was like this documentary on creation of Star Wars. It was like 2 hours or something. Man, George Lucas is the shit. Seems like such a cool guy. And all the stuff he was coming up with and the storytelling, right, and all that, and the Joseph Campbell hero of a, was it Mask of 1,000 Heroes or Face of 1,000 Heroes or something like that? I always get the name of it wrong. I feel like I really should read that. But anyway, what the hell was I going with all that? The way he was talking about story and mythology and all that kind of cool stuff, and you're right, man. Like older stuff, and even the superhero stuff. To be honest, it feels very like, for better or for worse, just like, you know, it's simple. Here's a guy with the lightsaber fighting a bad guy, saving a princess, right? Like that kind of stuff. And nowadays, it's, I mean, look at the new Star Wars for an example, or whatever. I feel like we just keep talking about Star Wars, but everything's about like big epic space battles that are, maybe technology is the reason why we kind of go that way or whatever. But I do like this too, you know, like I'm not saying the old artists in the old comic book days, they had different reasons they had to live, but one of the coolest things about art, in my opinion, is like how you build off history. So like, let's say, I don't know for any of you guys that, I'm sure there's a good portion of people that enjoy Star Wars. You might not love it, but you enjoy it. And maybe you saw it at some point when you were younger and you're like, holy hell. Or maybe not Star Wars, maybe even younger, and there was something else you saw that just blew your mind, like, holy shit, creativity can get like that. You can go that far. And then that's why I think all this stuff sort of like builds off the past. you can see how far people can push their imagination and how far is okay and how far they break something, and then it inspires you to go like, yeah, let's go that far, let's go further, you know. And then the explosions get bigger, the storytellings get deeper. You can start telling stories that like affect people in different ways as opposed to just always being feel good stories or whatever. You know what I mean? It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. Actually, I feel like these shadows are just too big. Alright, let's carve his Jesop first. Oops. Let's try the texture brush here. What song is that you're listening to? Reminds me of my grandfather flute song when we were kids. So if this reminds you of your grandfather playing a flute, you're a lucky man. It's beautiful. It's just generic Zen music. It's like a 3-hour Zen music track. Love listening to this shit. Don't get me wrong, thrash metal is my favorite. But symphonies and orchestras, nature sounds, coffee shop sounds, those are awesome too. But sometimes just, like, to me this kind of scene right here is very just chill. That's why I dig this kind of music. Get my carpet over here. Kind of reminds me of Battle Chasers music a little bit too, eh? Yeah, the intro, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right at the start there. Doom, doom, doom. No idea why, but right now this music makes me think of. You guys ever see that movie Hook? Robin Williams as Peter Pan. No idea, but that's just images of that Lost Boys and stuff pretending to eat food at a feast. Jesus. Peter Pan's pipes. I don't I don't know why that's so funny. It's Peter Pan's pipes. Alright, we're almost done this cover. We already got the flats done, right? And once we get the shadows in here, presto, banjo, banjo, chango, we're all done. I'm going to duplicate the shadow layer, that way we can always go back. We can screw around with this one. Alright, let's go ahead and grab our Smoth watercolor. Alright, this is interesting. This mouse I can't use. But we gotta change the brush size. I don't know if there's a... Is that a button? No. Alright, I guess we're going back to keyboard for this. Alright, so what we're doing, just so you guys know, is I'm looking to just soften up edges. Not all of them, but ones that are core shadows. I believe that's the right word. So the difference between a core shadow and a cast shadow, unless my language is messed up, a core shadow is something like this bicep, we'll say, right? Like there's light and then it fades into darkness. A cast shadow is an object casting its form of shadow onto something else. So an example, and I mean this isn't usually always the case, but it's pretty much the case. Go outside or grab a light or whatever, right? Just use your hand, and you can see like on your hand where it goes light to dark. I really need to wash this. This is gross. And the glove, not my hand, but see where your hand is, right? And then lay your hand or like a pen over wherever the light source is, and you'll see like, especially how close the light. The closer this stuff is to a light source, the more of that discrepancy you'll see. So that's usually what I'm doing here. Is I'm just trying to soften up edges that aren't cast shadows, and it just what it does is it makes it so that your shadows aren't just uniform. There's different kinds of shadows, and it makes it just a little bit more interesting. kind of fit Jesop being friendly tranquil with the bird up until you go to Momo who ruins the I know, right? What a witch. Just ruining everything. Alright, cool. So, hey, and we're done. No. Alright, so let's put all the gross colors back on. Now it's looking... Look at that. Alright, so let's fill it in with this purple color. I don't know if we'll probably end up using it, but we'll see. We go to multiply, boom, presto changeo, comic is done. What color is our lights? Let me try that again with English. What color is our light source? Actually, let me open up issue 2. I just want to make sure. I don't know if I did anything different with highlights. I don't think I did highlights. I'm pretty sure I don't ever do them, but I may have done it with the cover. Issue 2, color. Let's have a little look. See. We just laid that over top. Oh. Let's just see how it all looks with everything on there. Save it up. What do we see? What do we see? What do we see? Maybe. Alright, so if we're going with purple, what was our color balances of that? Let's take a look here. Shadows going into the red, highlights going into the yellow. Let's punch up that yellow a little bit more. Actually, let's go to the shadow. It's a little dark. Glare, correction. Let's do some levels. Let's have a little looky-see. Make a little more rich. I feel like Momo here. Let's just bring in the levels here. It's pretty white back there. Hey, Terror of Death, how's it going, buddy? I just want to try something here before we say this is. Let's bring that up. Let's mess around with the. Maybe go with like a red. Just slide around here, see what we like. Kind of like the warmer, like this one's kind of, Actually, let's do this. So the back, you know what it is? I'm noticing. It's just because there's this big flat color in the background, right? I think that's what's kind of pooping all over it. Let's grab this, lock it down, color it up. All right. So let's try doing. Do we go? Yeah, let's. All right, let's go darker. We'll use our gradient, foreground and transparent. Now, do we go darker down here, or do we reverse that shit? Kind of like that. Frames it a bit. Now, why is that so dark? Something's... I see. Okay, 1 second, guys. This guy's got all these blend modes going. Alright, let's try with all this stuff. That's better. That's better. Now we put the values back on. At least there's some breaking up there. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, I could always, and I've always thought of this. I could go in here and like do like really cool rim lights and stuff, and highlights for sure. But I'm trying my best to like not do it. I'm trying to walk away from it, just in hopes of like this is enough and this is okay, kind of thing. All right, well I'm not gonna spend too much time frigging around. Let's save it up. Pat Mast, how's it going? Welcome. All right, so this is gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna save it so that I can do the recorded version for you guys. Now the question is, what do we do now? Now that we're done some work today. Let me save it as final. For quality, yeah. Just give me a second here to save it all up here, guys. Save for web. Shit. Oops. Cancel. Cool. Okay. Art-related stuff or others? Well, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm not gonna go play Star Wars just yet. We'll probably play that later. I keep looking out the window here because I'm expecting a truck. Get some books in today. Okay, so this is what we can. I guess what I'm jumping back and forth with here. So I have a very. Okay, so I've got, these are the projects we're doing right now. There's a comic cover project that I have to start on. We can't do that today. There's some prep work I got to do for that before I can start streaming that. But that'll definitely be coming soon. Very similar to like what we've been doing with the Jesop King stuff. Second one is I can start working on Jesop King issue 2, which is probably where I should go. Whatever. The third one is the Spider-Gwen stuff, and I keep having that resistance, that fighting towards it, because like I know I haven't been drawing it for a while, so I'm feeling like I don't even care about it anymore, and I'm just almost like back in that stupid bullshit mindset of like, I don't even want to do that. I'd rather do this stuff, blah 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 blah. Right? So there's that, and/or some fan art to do, if we want to do some of that. And the only thing, the reason why I'm kind of hesitant to do some Jesop King stuff is I'm still working on the script. I have the first, few pages done already. But what I have to do is I have to put the speech bubbles in before I start drawing, and I don't know if I want to do that just yet. What do you guys want to see? Or what do you guys want to do? Let's see what you guys want to do. Pat Mass, everything's going good. 2 weeks of holidays, which means 2 weeks ago. See, lucky man. Like I got 2 weeks of holiday too, and my brain's split. On one side, I'm like, just relax, just enjoy it. You know, I know I'm gonna be working all year, so enjoy this downtime. That's what Christmas and the holidays is about. And then I get spoiled and get 2 weeks off of work, right? So it's like, yeah, man, just relax, wind down. And the other part of me is like, not thinking necessarily of work, but all the cool stuff art-wise I could do to, you know, get started and ready for the new year. Hey, thanks, Keeman. Appreciate it, buddy. What do we want to do? Just fan art? I don't know. You know what I'm wondering here? Check this out. While my brain's doing whatever it wants to do here and to think, I want to do like the old. I think this might be a cool idea. I think Spawn and other people did this too. It's like this color. You can change it between issues. It's just a little stupid thing to do. Alright, let me save these up. Fan art sounds like a good warm-up cooldown. Fan art to me, I agree. I feel that way too. It kind of feels like if I do that, then I'm pretty much done for the rest of the day. I don't know why. Because I know it'll be a couple hours or whatever fan art we do. Because I want to color it and all that stupid shit. All the time in the world and nothing to do. Let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. Maybe. I mean, it's like I feel like we should move on everything. Everything and nothing. You know what I just realized on this cover? Forgot Jesop's Pokeballs. Let's see. Alright, issue. Let's see where we're at here. Silhouette and rough, there shouldn't be anything, we just got the covers. Thumbnails, yeah, no, we got all the juicy thumbnails. What would these 3 pages be? So, what I would be doing if we do Jesop King is breakdowns. I've tried to figure it out in my brain that if it's going to take me 2 months to do 22 issues, yeah, right, 22 pages, it's about 3 pages a week. So, I like to work in batches, so we'll do batches, right? So, what I would be doing is breakdowns of the first 3 pages. I got Jesop killing stuff. This cool shot, some perspective. Alright, let's take a look at the Spider-Gwen stuff before I make the decision. We're in the line art for this, right? Let's go through all this stuff. Take a look. What I'm doing, I'll be honest with you guys, is I'm looking at what work do I have to do. Then I'm going to decide what I feel like doing. So we already got the backgrounds for this. I just got to draw a face. All these people down here, that looks super boring. These are all done. We're just doing those 2 panels. I think there's still quite a bit of work to do on these. Yeah, see, these are all the breakdowns already for this stuff. I'm actually not excited to do any of this. like these especially. Man, this is so funny. You know what it is? Here, we'll do some venting for you guys, so you guys can hear like first world problems. So I have a job, right, and it's a great job. I'm very fortunate to have it, a day job and stuff like that. And I've shared this with you guys before. That I've programmed my brain to go like whatever job I have, like as my day job, it's a stepping stool to get into doing comics. And the more I've told myself that and lived that life for like many years, that it's just the way it's always been. So I've always been what I would consider a lot of people do when they make comics, or if you want comics to be your thing, is that like you give up a lot to do that, right? And awesome stuff. The older I get, the slower things get, blah, blah, blah. Not everybody's going to work this way. I understand. This is just my bullshit, just venting here. Is that, again, it goes back to that video that do you want to be excellent, or do you want to be exceptional in one thing, or do you want to have a life? And, you know, the cost to either or is the exact same thing. So if you want to be exceptional, you can't really have a life. If you want to have a life, you can't be exceptional, right? And there's outliers to that and stuff, but for most of us, that's true. And the more I just go, you know what, I enjoy reading a novel. I'm excited for these novels coming in today. I hope I get to read them, especially on my little break here. Jesop, like this feels like work, but it doesn't feel like there's no pressure, I suppose, which is a good thing. Pressure is a good thing, right? And on the other side, the Marvel stuff, I know I already turned down the DC, the Doctor Doom one, and then I was like, I got my second win, and I'm like, no, we're gonna give it a shot. And I've got my Spider-Gwen stuff, right? And I'm working on that, and it felt great going forward. And now it's in the grind. But in the back of my head, my mind's going like, if I'm not that interested in it, don't do it. But it's also the back of my head doing that, you know, okay, you're in the work stage. Remember, I have this little thing that I saw posted on Freddie Williams. He had this video, and I copied it, and I'll read it to you guys. Remember, when doing roughs and wireframes are basically line art, which I'm doing now. You always get depressed, tired, distracted, and bored. Don't let it get the best of you. And that's 100% what's happening right now. And so my brain, because it's distracted, is going like, yeah, who cares? Just do Jesop. Just do Jesop. Keeman doesn't care what he sees as long as it's art related. Let's... And now what I'm thinking, see you later, Justin, right? Is that if I do this, then I'm not putting time into that. And if I do that, I'm not putting time into this. And then I'm like, well, fuck it. Just do some fan art then. Do something fun. Then that's like, well, then you're not doing anything for anybody. Okay, let's do let's do some fan art. Screw it. All right, close all this. Make a new one. A new page. All right, what are we going to do? I'm going to change up the music in a second here. What are we gonna do fan art of? You guys got any topics or something that we could do? I've been feeling Star Wars lately. I did Kylo Ren. I don't know if I want to do any more Star Wars. What else we got? Could always do more Jesop stuff, but that'll just be pin-ups. What do we got up here? Get some video game characters: Ninja Turtles, Venom, Thanos, Spawn. Street Fighter. The dreaded Big Barda. Big Barda, who's that? Is that from Great Lake Adventures? Is that her name? Or am I mixing her with something else? And whatever we decide to go with, we'll get some music to go with it. Maybe. I don't know if I'm feeling superheroes though. Have you designed the big villain for Jesop already? Well, that's top secret. We can yes and no. I have a sketchbook of like an early design with him. I'll just say for, I guess, spoilers or whatever, I kind of have like a Krang design going for him. Mr. Miracle's wife. I don't even know who that is. I know Mr. Miracle, but I don't know like the character, like what he does. Jake saying Dark Side. Never. DC characters are always so alien to me. Let's have a little look here. Let's take a look online, see what we got. And again, I don't know if I want to do. Here, let me just type heroes. Let's see what we got. I don't know if I want to do superhero though, which is weird because it's like all I draw is superheroes. Oh yeah, I forgot about Heroes the show. Heroes of the Storm. Got Star Wars heroes. Got Avengers. Or Justice League. Goku. I did a Goku before. I got Bruce Lee. Call of Duty. Garbage. Here's the Storm, eh? I always like the Blizzard stuff. What are you guys saying? Battle Chasers to Garrison? Ooh. Pokemon? Arm Fall Off Boy? I don't know. Give me some obscure stuff to look at. Zelda, Triforce Heroes. Pokemon, eh? Spike Spiegel, all these names, I don't even know who they are. Oh my god, that's great. Overwatch, yeah, the Overwatch is huge too. Dragon Quest. I always wanted to do more Dragon Quest fan art. I don't think I've done any. It's Power Rangers. Oof. What are you guys saying? So many ideas. Draw me? Draw myself? Final Fantasy. There's I don't know. Good old Superman. Transformer. Samus Aran from Metroid. Metroid's awesome. Oh boy. Arthas. Captain Phasma. What else are we getting here? Jesus Christ showed up, apparently. That's cool for heroes. Jesus Christ. That's awesome. Lightsabers are just cool, right? He-Man. Mega Man. Yeah, we were just talking about He-Man, eh? I feel like I've done a He-Man before, though. And it wasn't very good. Actually, here, one second. If I find it, I'll post it up here. One second. Jonathan, let me put my name in here. Rector. I think it was DeviantArt, actually. I don't post here anymore. DeviantArt. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Look at this, guys. You ready? Here, check this out. There's like so many old things that I posted on DeviantArt. Check out my He-Man. See how old this was so you guys can get an idea. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's actually do... Okay, we're going to take a little break here, I guess, until we decide. Let's go through some of my old stuff. Let's go through this entire gallery for a second. You guys want to talk about... this just brings back good, warm feelings. You guys remember when we were doing the prints and stuff for all this? This was cool. And the Mega Man one. Alright, let's see here. Let's have a little look. Check out this horrible Goku. Oh yeah, Squirrel God. Forgot about that guy. Check him out. 2013. Godzilla. Geez, some of these are rough. Check out this hero I made. Never went anywhere with him. What was it? The Spectacular Hangnail. Look at that big gut. Draw Jesop with Jack Kirby. I don't want to do a style thing. Lord Zed, got Skeletor here. TV Man from the Standard. Good old Godslayer. Alright, here we got one of Samus. This was 2012. This clearly was a warm-up. That's funny. This is when I was starting to like mess around with Manga Studio 4. That's nuts. So long ago. Yeah, check this out when I was using screen tones. This was like a webcomic for Shattered Myth. It was like a creator, like he asked a bunch of people to kind of fill in for him. So this is like Thor, and this is Mjolnir. I think I said that right. He's giving it to like this troll or frost giant or something. But I was messing around with trying to get screen tones and stuff. This is from main character from a game called Radiant Historia. Awesome, awesome RPG. Draw Galactus. I draw Galactus all the time. Oh, thanks, Tara. I don't post on DeviantArt anymore, but go ahead. Feel free to follow it. Check this out. You want to see how far back Jesop King goes, man? This is 2012. Incoming hostile enemy Cave Dingus. Captain Cave Dingus. What the fuck is that? Add a girl angel. Charge Susie up with a solar round. This is when he had a gun. And I don't know if you can see on here or not, but I put like a health bar on his chest. That would be like his shield energy. Jesus. I really enjoyed this cover too. This one came out. The inks were pretty sloppy, but the color helped it. See how thick everything is? 2012. Damn. This is fun too. I like showing you guys this just so you can see how far back we go. You can see how, like, you know, if you keep drawing, your stuff will change no matter what you like. 2011 Mega Man. And this one was Guts Man. I always liked that one. And then some painted cut man that looks way too serious and just not cool at all. 2008. Almost 10 years ago. I like this. This was like a rough for that Thor comic. Let's keep going back. Here we go. Look, even more Jesop King. So if you guys want to remember like where your ideas come from and how far back you can go with them, look at this cover. Look at him. He's at 73%. This was 2011. This one I did traditionally. I inked traditionally and then tried to color it. And I actually color the same now with like these cut and grad stuff. Let's see what we do. Go back here. Yeah, this was the original Jesop comic. I know I showed you guys this before. He was much more of an asshole in this one too. He was like more of like a Han Solo, I suppose. He was I think he was a bounty hunter, right? Yeah. Good. Nothing like getting shot down from your bounty. There we go. This will be what, third ship this month? Fourth, Captain. Technicalities, Angel. Now let's find something to eat. Yes, Captain. Scanning local area for edible life. Targets found directly above, sir. Atta girl. Oh, this is so cringy. Gross. Look at Jesop. Look at him. Look at that. He looks so fat here. What was fun about this is I was also learning the Freddy method a little bit more here too, right? So you can see how things are just looking. It's funny. You stick with something long enough and things. Oh, his hair was slick black. Oh, it was 100% slick. You stick with stuff long enough, and you'll figure out what's working and what's not working. This face looks similar to kind of where he's at, but look at the mustache. Even the mustache is a lot more tame compared to like as big as it is now. Check it. So this is again learning more of the DC Comics version of. You got the line art. This Colossus looks absolutely like shit. I was doing a lot of these heroes and stuff. Check out this Superman. What's going on with his face? This is learning that path thing I told you guys about. You know, you can make like logos and stuff. Yeah, this is funny. This looks like friggin' pretty erotic. Jesop King here with like this tentacle monster dropping blood. I remember drawing this and I was like, it looks like he's naked because superheroes, right? But, God. What is this? Mature content. Oh, yeah. This is... Are you serious? It's, Sub-Zero ripping somebody's head off. Because I did a different one down here. I think a scorpion. Scroll down to find it. Alright, check it out. Here we go. Jesop King Design 1. Look at these. Look at the way he was proportioned too back then. It's a lot more fun. Little mustache got like the curls at the end. Am I freelance? I mean, yes and no, but like I have a day job. I work at a video game company, doing like design work and stuff. But no, and in that case, no, I'm not really a freelance artist. Like I do take cover work from time to time and commissions from time to time, but this right here isn't how I make a living. I always really like this one. These ones are, I was trying to do some of this stuff. I might get back into this just to get back into traditional stuff again. Super simple colored pencil. Good old Mikey. Oh yeah, check out my Vegeta. This is fun to look at. 2011, oh my god. How old is this one? Another Samus picture. This is when I used to shade and render everything to death. Ugh. 2010. I feel like this stuff is a lot older than it is. But this would have been like how I used to draw comics and stuff. I'm so glad I don't do this anymore, but for better or for worse, this might be pretty hard to see. See if I can find a bigger panel. Oh, here we go. Let's check out this Wonder Woman. It's just like all these like lines and stuff. I don't know. Like a lot of people ink like this nowadays too, but it was just like, I don't know. Look at this hair. Jesus Christ. Old school Mega Man is awesome. Damn right. Got some Ryu. Let's take a look at Ryu here. Look at all the rendering. Like, it's not even a lot, but I'm just looking at it like, I think no matter what, we all look at our old stuff, and some of it you're like, oh, pretty cool, pretty neat stuff, and then other parts of it you're just like, no thank you. All these painted crap. What is this? This is the Easter dragon or the ice cream dragon or something like that. Can I zoom in? Oh, yeah. This is actually funny. This looks very similar to like the new Venom I did. God, he's so stiff looking. 2010. Well, here's my Pokemon drawing. Look how gross this looks. Apparently I had hair or something. I don't know. I have the top there with my receding hairline. Apparently, little did I know that one day it would all be gone. So 7 years ago, I had a little bit of hair, and hairy as fuck arms too. Look at this. That didn't. That's awesome. Okay, here you go. So this is like what we were talking about a little earlier. This is when I was reading the Eternals here, right? So some Icarus. This would have been like a Kirby style face. Just not as good as the King, man. Little Dr. Doom here. We got some Galactus for you over here. I don't know what's going on with his face, but alright, here's He-Man. Let's take a look at He-Man. Jesus. This is funny. check this out. This is when I started looking at, I'll show you two things. Pretty cool. So what I was trying to do was, and I recommend doing this too, guys, if you guys are interested in this, is this actually, you can see all the wrinkles in the page. This is like copy paper that's 11 by 17, so I didn't have to use Bristol. I tried to recreate each page, and I think I only got up to page 3 or maybe just page 1. I did the cover, we'll show you in a second. But I tried to redraw how Kirby drew, but adding a little bit of like my own rendering and stuff on there, so it taught me quite a bit. I think it was kind of fun. The cover was really fun to do. And you'll see, like, yeah, right? So it's the exact same as the cover, but like trying to draw these characters in the background and then adding a little bit of rendering and all that crap on there. But what this showed me was like, at least the way I was looking at it, was like staging that Kirby was doing. You know, like these characters in the background. This guy, there's no background at all. He's just kind of standing on nothing. And for whatever reason, there's like textured brick for the road here, and then this is all sidewalk. This is all from the cover, I remember that. But like the shadows and stuff with a little bit of rendering, like I'm saying, it was like my touch to it. But it was more of a practice for like how to directly apply a style of another artist onto something. I did that a few times with different artists, but nothing really stuck. Okay, let's go back to the... Oh, is this stuff really not up? Let's go back to like the very first DeviantArt post. Let's take a look. This is... Okay, this isn't right. This is like going in different orders, I think. Here, we'll just scroll down and see what happens. It's a little trip down memory lane. Good morning, everybody. Hey, how's it going, Doodles? Doodles. So this stuff here, I know it came a lot longer. This was a double-page spread in a comic I did called Cord and Harley. This was actually pretty cool. Lot of rendering though, but if I looked at this and inked all that in black, so much this is a criticism I used to get all the time, was that my storytelling wasn't clear enough. And I think the reason for that is because the way I was taught to draw, and I say that in a good way as well as a bad way, was like shadows and detail work and all that stuff. It was super important, and to leave as little, I guess this was like the message I was given, for better or for worse, is that in a way, you kind of can't trust an inker if you're the penciler. If you want what you want to come out, you got to draw as tight as you can. So all of this stuff took so much time, and you can see it's friggin' pretty. It's pretty clean. Like an inker could just go over here and ink. They know what they got to ink, right? Whereas, like if you look at like a John Romita Jr. or a Greg Capullo, it's a lot more loose. And the inker, I don't want to say they do a lot of the heavy lifting, but they get a little bit more freedom. And I imagine those pages take less time to do. But anyway, this kind of stuff here, I'm so glad I don't do this shit anymore. And you guys might be into this stuff, and that might be the direction you're going on your journey. God bless. I'm just, for myself, I'm just glad I'm not stuck in this again. I'm trying to see if there's like some other stuff I can show you guys here. What is this one? Cord and Harley. Oh, somebody's getting their head ripped off or something. So you guys might get a kick out of this. So what I used to do back in the day is something is like, this would have been a thumbnail. So imagine it would probably be about this big, okay? And I would pencil it, and then I would just grab like I don't know, it could be a Bic pen or anything, and just not tighten up, but put enough detail in there, whatever, with some shadows, and then I would scan it into Photoshop and print it out at 11 by 17, and grab and put this on Bristol and put it on a window, and then I would like outline it and go, okay, I already know where my shadows are going to be. And this was just to like change it up, because when I was drawing these pages, they weren't that exciting or fun, and whatever I could do to sort of like speed it up, oh man, that's all I would do. Lady Lagona, what is that? Mature content. Oh, I gotta sign in for that shit. Look at all this stuff. I used to just scan it in, and these are pencils, and these are tests. Pencils that I would darken in Photoshop just to see how they would come along. But the paper were always so dirty. Just so I can show you guys where comics came from a long time ago. This is how I used to do them. I forget what this guy's name was. Treasure Boy. He's riding something in the desert. 2003. So now we're going back. Oh yeah, no, hey, if I can show anything with this is, yeah, if you're just put years into this stuff with the good intent of getting better and just drawing, you'll get there. You'll get there. Just some of us it takes a lot longer than other people, right? And my painting was, or my coloring was more like painting. But the way I always looked at it was like the shadows and rendering and the coloring, this always hid bad anatomy and stuff. Like, look at this shit. And it's funny, I'm looking at some of this and there's definitely like a lot of stuff I do now is still very, very similar to this sort of thing. Arthas, way back in the day. Surprised none of this, why doesn't any of this work? Cloud 9. The Human Torch? What is this? Ooh. The Harlequin's Waltz. Let's see what the hell this was. Trying to be fancy. Ooh. Your character's drawing gesture, posture, background improved greatly. Oh yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Bog or swamp creature. Yeah, it's not working. Like check out, like, okay, this is like when I used to do perspective work, and you can see everything is dark as fuck too, but see, this is me learning 2-point perspective. You can see it's very simple, it's very boring looking. And you guys might be there too, you guys might feel like you're here too. Trust me. Just keep grinding through. Look at this. Still have trouble with backs, but goddamn. So this is when I would see other artists, and they were doing like a lot of detail work, and I was trying to do that. But what I found I was doing was I was again masking bad structure and anatomy with details, and I found that people really enjoy looking at details, for better or for worse, right? So you can see like none of this perspective makes any sense. She's got tattoos all over her for whatever reason. And at the time, I felt like it was still good, but it's not like there's no story to any of this. There's no reason for any of it. It's stuff. It's noise. And when I would send this to people, this kind of stuff, people would look at it and they would tell me exactly what I just said, but I would understand it, but I wouldn't like fully understand it all the time. It was very hard to move forward with a lot of this stuff when it's hard to understand, right? Or at least with my comprehension of it was really bad. Like this kind of stuff is just, I was looking at an artist named Bengus. I think he's still, or not Bengus, Bengal. I think he's doing Batgirl right now, actually. Back in the day, though, he was just posting around on art forums called like Eat Poo and all that stuff. But anyway, I would see him doing stuff and other people doing stuff with like this really cool color, and I didn't understand color or any of that stuff, so a lot of this is just guessing as I go, but you can see the impatience in the art just to get me to color, because I couldn't color on a tablet, or draw on a tablet yet, so I had to like quickly sketch stuff so that I could quickly color things. Long time ago. And this is me playing with like effects and stuff like that too, right? Photoshop. Remember, like this is 2003, right? So I was probably into Photoshop a good 2 years at this point. And it's like the dodge tool and stuff. But you can see the anatomies. Like I'm working stuff out here, but it's still, there's creative stuff in here is what I can see, but the structure and the work is still years away. I always liked this one too. This one was pretty cool. It's kind of spooky looking. This is like trying to learn, you know, some lighting effects and stuff. Alright, and then we'll go to the newest shit. old is this one? This was one of the RPG, but you can see like already, like I'm still using the shadow, but this has more like, to me when I look at this, it just has more, it looks like somebody with more experience just did it, that's all. Right, like shadows are kind of where they should be, rendering makes sense, like it's following a form, whereas the other rendering and stuff, it was just sort of like lines, it was noise, in a lot of ways it was just noise. But yeah, I think that was everything. I don't know, like, yeah, so we're just taking a look through all this crap. I don't think there's anything, I don't know, I still don't know what we're going to draw. This is more of like just a fun little distraction, I guess. Alright, we were looking at He-Man. That's what we were looking at. Alright, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, boy. Let's take a look what we got. You guys gave me good ideas too. I just don't know what to draw. I'm sorry guys. This is pretty boring. I'm just trying to find something and I get nothing's going like, yeah, let's do that. Let's draw that. Alright, you know what we're going to do then? Instead of fan art, we're just going to draw. We're just going to scribble around until something comes up there. Let's get some music, though. Let's get some upbeat music here. Maybe we could do, like, what would be a... There's always new retro wave. Alright, I'll get into some dark stuff. Dark synth wave. Let's see what we got. And again, you guys please let me know if the music's out of control. Or whatever. Alright, let's just scribble around and find something. Like I love Thanos, but I feel like I've just drawn him enough. He's very close to like a Jesop to me. So I don't know. What do we got here? Hey, how's it going, brother? Maybe we're just going down like a character design route or something. I don't know. Kind of like where this is going. Work on some female characters or older folks. Well, those aren't fun to draw. Trying to feed off the music, see if we get something like... Let's fire around with this one for a little bit. It was like an elemental god or something like that. Let me try the old copy paste. Let's see what we get. Edit, transform. How's that looking? Alright, this is hard to see. Alright, trying to figure out where this, whatever the hell this thing is, this body can go. Let's get a collarbone here. This is very human anatomy. Just this weird snaky looking thing. I don't know. Then we could put like some sort of like cool energy effect in here. Maybe it's Old Man Winter, eh? Okay. This music isn't doing it. We need some more gas on this. Oh, I'm just scribbling here, dude. There's no character here. An Egyptian style super. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, we're just fucking around. See what we get. A Wendigo. Dance with the Dead, yeah. Actually, I just want something like just filthy. Dance with the Dead full album. Do it. Just skip a little bit. I want like boom, 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 something. Let's go. Let's go. Play it. One sec, let me try this one. Oh, look at the ads, holy shit. Yeah, something like that. Dance with the Dead is very good. Thanks, Chris. sometimes doing this kind of stuff is it's really like I'm already liking where the character's going. I haven't seen him in his full form yet, but this kind of shit's really cool to do. Like I can see this character maybe in Jesop, maybe. I don't know how yet, but. Just scribbling little characters that you know, like little sketch sessions or something you do. Sometimes you can get some pretty cool stuff. Alright, let's move away from the face for a little bit. Oh, no way. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. One sec here. Where's undo this button? Alright, so I've made a big mistake. I've been drawing on the wrong layer. No. So if we shrink this, that line art's going bye-bye. Ooh, 1 second, guys. My package may arrive. 1 second.
Not all pain relievers work the same way. To show you, we placed these two in simulated stomach fluid. Only the Tylenol rapid release gel started to dissolve in seconds. Its laser drilled holes help release medicine faster. Tylenol rapid release gels.
Alright, it's all good. Something's in my mailbox, I'll get it later. Anyway, so I've drawn on the wrong layer. There's no going back now. Okay, so what we'll do, to see if I can, pardon my French here, unfuck myself. Let's merge that layer down, and then we're going to go edit, convert brightness to opacity, and then we're going to make a new layer here. Put that to 90. There we go. Whew. Drawing in the wrong layer may cost even though I make some. Yeah, cool. It sucks. The sooner you realize it, you might be able to fix it. What the hell? Let's just copy this like we did last time.
She's always dealt with grief oddly. When my mother died, she skipped school and spent the day alphabetizing my cosmetics. Like a psychopath.
Shoulder pattern or something. We're gonna be wrapping this up soon, but I just want to finish the line art here and get a contour layer on it. Most likely I'll be streaming tomorrow too, around the same time, maybe probably a little earlier. We'll finish this guy up and I'll figure out what the hell else we're gonna be doing. What else we're gonna be doing? We're gonna move on the Spider-Gwen stuff, which makes a lot more sense, but maybe the Jesop too. Alright, let's turn all this off, see what we're looking at. Let's close all these lines. Let's try it. Oh, I had the wrong thing clicked. My bad. Alright, what I'll do here too is I'm going to put a little special effects layer. I don't know what we're going to put here, so I'll just sort of scribble the idea. Maybe something like this, I don't know. Cool. Okay, well, thanks everybody. Turn that off there, turn all that off there. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So like I said, we will continue this tomorrow, most likely earlier. Got up a little bit late today, played a little Star Wars. We'll get back into the drawing. Start to. I think it's probably appropriate. It's funny. I was just kind of screwing around, enjoying the day or whatever, you know, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But then once I start drawing and moving around and stuff like that, I'm like, you know, it's fun. It's fun to be in there getting creative and just doing stupid shit. So probably appropriate to keep riding that lightning and figure out some sort of schedule a little early here instead of waiting. I was gonna wait until the new year. That's usually when I normally get all my stuff, all my ducks in a row, and start to like, okay, this is where I would like to go in these couple months coming up and stuff like that. But you know, what the hell? Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So now that I'm saying that, maybe like I'll definitely be streaming tomorrow. Most likely around the same time. Hopefully a little earlier, unless I get all this planning and stuff done first and all that cool stuff. But anyway, other than that, I'll also record a sped up process video of probably issue 1 and 2 of Jesop King, the cover, so you guys can kind of see that. I don't know if I have issue 2. I'll have to check, but either way, issue 1 has pretty much been recorded, I believe. I hope so anyway. Let me close this here. So if I see some of you guys then, awesome. If not, cool. Keep enjoying your holidays, you guys. And anyway, until next time, you guys, keep reading comics, keep making comics. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, and bye-bye. And anyway, until next time, you guys, keep reading comics, keep making comics. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.